Wow.
And now it's too late
That's
because
good.
they're 17, 18. And then we
And
work through
it
that.
gives them, yeah, and it gives them and just asking that question, it starts this whole process of them trying to figure out what it is that their purpose is or who they are. And it takes them on a journey of even before going to college to, and I'm sure they've a lot of those who you're working with, they end up identifying exactly where they want to work, where they want to go to school, or what type of major that they want to major in, right? Is
Absolutely.
have
Yeah. It's
awesome.
almost like a release. It's a release where there's not one college or one major that will define who they are or that will change, that will completely 100% support their purpose. They kind of realize that these are just vehicles of something that I really know deep inside. And these are the
Hmm.
best resources or vehicles that's going to accelerate the path. So in terms of top ranking schools, I'm a rebel to that because the ranking is not correlated to the success in your adult life.
That's
It's
that's
it's your
so
engagement.
true.
Yeah,
So they were. It's almost as they were able to listen to to they were able to listen to like assignments and finish assignments, but that has nothing to do with if they're going to succeed in the real life or the next level.
that's right. That's absolutely
So
right.
so Sonia, what have inspired you? Like what inspired you to do all of this for the next generation?
I like my exposure to working with college age students when I was at the
Mm,
University of California system. I felt happy every day. Like, and then the high schoolers when I worked at a high school, and and I was only in my mid 20s where I decided to say I can't represent an institution any longer. I need to
mm,
represent the family. And I think about my own upbringing because I realized, wow, I was an obedient daughter. And I wish I was more assertive. And no one really taught me that. I just went with the flow, changed my major a couple of times, and thank goodness I did find my calling. So I literally decided to say, I'm starting my own thing. And the visualization is I sprinted and jumped off the cliff to start college confidence because I was so sure of the vision
mm.
that I had. And then I enjoyed the free fall of, well, how do you become an entrepreneur?
That's
I'm
it.
on the free fall. I was like figuring it out. And that was the start of college confidence. My very, very first parent meeting. So I was at a home and I invited parents. There was 20 families in that workshop, and I did this 45-minute workshop. I had 19 families sign on, and that was the
Wow.
beginning of my first clientele group. That was the 2002 start. And I thought, I think I have something. That was kind of
Yeah.
like calling is working.
It's and there's plenty of parents, especially now. I can only imagine. Have you seen because of the times that we are in now? Has it increased or decreased?
Um, yes, COVID has absolutely turned college admissions upside down. So we were just getting a handle of what admission requirements were. What I love about it though is colleges are showing great compassion when it comes to
Right.
admissions, and families are really they're really nervous. I think that just safety. Can I leaving the nest was already a stressful kind of transition. Like, am I ready as a parent to let go of my child? But now it really becomes a very physical, real fear. And so most of my work now is helping to deal with those anxieties of affordability. And then we are customizing plans where it's fitting the family in that right way, whether it's emotional, mental, financial. What are the great thing is that there's so many options still,
Hmm.
so many options still. So we make sure we're very careful in designing that path that aligns with all of those values that the family's looking for. But yeah, it sure has heightened a lot of anxiety.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. So, have you seen like are you able to help with the financial aspect, like with financial aid? Is that part of your program, or is it just mainly, working them with like getting ready for college?
Yeah, the affordability is absolutely has to be part of the conversation.
Okay,
I
great.
don't get knee deep with looking into finances and strategizing. We refer out and have an advisor or a coach come in to help with if there needs to be maneuvering of funds. But we definitely look at what's the affordability factor for each family, how much financial aid they're going to get, and then dissecting within that financial aid package, how much will be loans and how much will be the scholarships and grants. We want scholarships and grants, right? Money we don't have to pay
Yes.
back. Because financial aid can be really tricky when colleges say, oh, 90% of our students get financial aid, but most of that can come in the form of a loan. So I really want to make that transparent for families. Like, what is your final bill? And then we can say, and then we have, with the teen has to be part of that conversation. Let's talk about what our family can afford. And that changes that college
Yes.
list a bit as well.
Yes, I love that because it's so important for that being part of the package. And it's great to know that even if you're not going, deep within all the different structures of financial support for the student, but that you have someone else or that's able to help the family with that, because that's, of course, without the money you can't go anywhere. and
Right.
and you're correct. A lot of times with the financial aid, usually the most that you may get is like $5,000, $6,000. So, and then the rest is usually it's usually loans. So it's important to know where the scholarships are, where grants are, to help that financial weight on the family. and
Yes.
and
And
that in itself is stressful.
it is. And, I think another thing with parents, they tend not to like to talk about money or affordability with their teen. And the other misleading thing is when you say to your teen, babe, you got this. Your job, honey, is just to work hard in school. That is your job. Don't worry about the money part. We'll somehow take care of it. That's basically what
Mm,
teens are hearing. We'll manage. We'll figure it out. A teen listens to that and says, I'm going to be okay. I just have to do my part, and I have access to college. And so many times in my office, I'll hear, at the end, the student gets accepted to their first choice, and then the family will be like, oh, you know what, we can't afford this, we didn't know. And you can
mm.
absolutely know. And so I want to bring the parents back in and say, have some courage, to really bring in the teen and have this conversation. What a great lesson for the teen, right? This is,
Yeah.
this is a family investment. I look at rate of return. So yeah, hugely important.
Oh my gosh. So if you had to do it, because I know you said, you mentioned you had tweens right now, right?
Yep.
And how old are they again?
I just have one 11-year-old. My oldest is 19, so she's second year college student.
Okay. And and as you're working with the parents and you have your child into college, if any advice to prepare that before they would meet with someone like you to help support them in this college journey, any advice you have for those who are looking to support their students, a student or their children, toward, like, what would they have to prepare, or what would you share with them even before they go into the college ages, right? So what I'm saying is, a lot of times college kind of prepare at freshman through senior in high school. But what would be the advice for someone that's in middle school? Like, how could
Yeah.
they start preparing and be in the space where they're ready, college confident?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, for sure. The younger we can start, the better, right? Because we talked about growth mindset. The age starts when they're born, basically, and you.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe we're too late. That's okay. There's always time. As long as you're there. And
you're 2 years old. You're going to college. Yeah, yeah, you're
right,
right.
right, right, as an outcome. Um, and I would love to give this to your listeners. I created this Parent and Teens Unite. It's designed for middle schoolers and up. And it's a
Okay.
guidebook by month of how can parents and their children engage in conversations about the niche is academics and options after high school. But how do we control that conversation? Because one thing to avoid is we shouldn't be asking our kid about school all the time, right? By the time our kids are teens, they dread walking through that kitchen door, and the first question that the parent will say is, I saw that C grade, what happened? Right? Because we
I
have access,
know.
right? Or what's for homework? How was school today? How was everything is about schooling, and schooling isn't their entire identity.
Hmm.
So
That's
going back to,
huge.
yeah, going back to the tips, it's control the conversation by agreement. And the guide helps saying, choose one or twice a week where you and your child agree, like, you know what, can we talk about school Thursdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays for 30 minutes during this time frame? And we both agree to that time frame and the place. Because of course, parents get so frustrated when the teen's like, it was good, I don't know, because they want to get out of because it's always asked, they feel like they're interrogated. And so teenagers will sometimes check out and not talk about academics at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And then start to freak out, right? But
I'm
if we can,
sure mine have done that. Yep.
yeah, we can control and say, right here during this 30 minutes, let's just talk about schooling and how I can support you, not me analyzing and judging where you are, but ways I can support you and how you feel about school. And then we can talk about other great topics happening in your life all the other times, right? So that, I think, is one of the biggest changes or tips that we can adjust as parents. And that guidebook, that again, you just have to pay. It's a hard copy, so just have to pay for shipping costs. I can also PDF for free, an email. It will tell you how to set up, like how do I engage my teen or tween to set up, and then what do I talk about during those times. And I have these
I love that. I love that.
questions, and then questions for the child to ask the parents. So it's a dialogue. It's
So,
not.
so let me ask you this again. So where can someone, a parent, or even sometimes it's grandparents or a neighbor who's helping a family, so how can they get in contact with you, or what is your website again so that they can reach out and get that information?
Definitely. I am so available to anyone who needs help if they just need to start. So how to contact me is collegeconfidence.net. And you will see all these resources there. You can get the Unite guide, and then just simply email me. I'm so available to helping others. Because again, I was a first generation college student. We didn't have a lot of resources or help. And I want to be that person to be accessible to help jumpstart any family who's thinking about creating that next step for their teen or tween.
And it's interesting because you're saying that you're the first person that have gone to college, and a lot of time I'm hearing a lot of people mentioning, well, it's not important to go to college anymore. What says you about that? Like how would you answer that question in regards to why is it important to attend college?
I don't like statements like that, actually. Any dramatic statement like that is truly misleading. I'll tell you what research says. Research says that when a student goes to post-secondary education at least 1 year, so 1 year after high school graduation, you train yourself in something, or you get an associate's degree, no matter what it is, your income, and I know high schoolers are going to be so interested in this, you will make $500,000 more. It's over 40 years, people, okay? So it's not
Wow.
like, but you will make $500,000 more in your 40 years compared to just a high school diploma. So for me, I don't stress on college degree or not college degree. It's how are you going to advance the skill set that you have that can look like community college, apprenticeship, military. I want every teen to know you've got 6 options, but which one is the best for you? And then you can.
What are the 6 options? What are the 6 options?
So community college, where you can get your associate's degree or transfer to a 4-year.
Okay.
Military has really amazing educational benefits and other benefits. My husband went to the Navy, so I know what those benefits are like.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah, right. I'll pass it on. Thank you. Traditional 4-year, 4-year university, go straight to 4-year. You have gap year programs. So that's where you want to do a service project for a year. I'm using work separately as the 6th option. You go straight to work, but there should be a purpose and a plan. So it's not just going to Subway and being a sandwich maker for a year. It's what are those skill sets that's going to jump into the next level.
To build your skill sets with a purpose.